Hello, and welcome to day 15 of 31 Links of Horror, a very spooky chain of events where I tell you about 31 horror books, movies, and other things, and how they link back to one another. So, yesterday we were in Argentina, and we were talking about Mariana Enriquez's Our Share of Night. Today, I'm going to take you to Austria to the early 1900s to talk about The Other Side by Alfred Kubin, or De Andere Seite. So both of these books are interesting because they feature the real world and then another place, right? So somewhere people go or some things people do to kind of escape or deal with the real world. So The Other Side is narrated by a nameless illustrator, and he receives a letter from an old friend. Now, this old school friend of his or acquaintance tells him that he founded this place called a dream realm, and it is a place in Central Asia where people like him can go and live together, cult. Just saying. So our main character gets there, and at first everything's perfect. It's a utopia. It's like anti-modernization, anti-industrialization of the time. Things start to decay a little bit because the people are starting to get sick, animals are starting to get violent, and it's just not cool. So eventually there's this American, the American savior, whose name is Hercules Bell. And he's like a representation of modern day capitalism and everything. And so he goes there to try and save everyone, but then things get even worse and everything starts to disintegrate pretty violently. Now, what I personally find quite funny is that this feels like, when I first read the synopsis to this novel, it was like, are they hippies? This is very hippies in the 70s, starting a cult and realizing everything's perfect, and then, actually, no. No, because actually this book was published in 1908. I should have specified, so the author is Austrian, but this book was published in Germany. So industrialization, for context, started roughly in the 1850s, at least in Europe or Western Europe. So this would have been 50 years in-ish, right? And so it's interesting that even back then they were seeing a lot of conflict between industrialization and the quote-unquote tradition or what seems like an idealistic society. So I don't know what that says about us when we're almost 200 years in. I was gonna say it feels a bit opposite to the Our Share of Night, because Our Share of Night was more of a reaction to the social political climate, whereas this feels more like a precursor to what's to come, but then it's also a reaction to the beginnings of industrialization. So I don't know. I'll let you, decide on that. Again, this is not a one that I have read yet. There are so many on this series that I haven't read or watched, full disclaimer, but I just think are really interesting and worth mentioning and are definitely securing their place on my TBR. Here's a quick clue about where we're going tomorrow. Chocolate. We're still in Europe. We're not going too far. Stick around to find out. As per usual, the playlist is here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you tomorrow.